What's up, guys and gals, and welcome to Veve Vibes. Today is 7:15 a.m. Friday, March 11th. We're about to have the Moira, I forgot her name already, McTaggart or something like that drop. I should have looked this up beforehand. I'm running a little bit late, about a full 15 minutes late, which is interesting because I actually woke up early today so I could kind of prepare, but you know, I got caught up with other things. So looking at ecomi wiki my collectibles, so something I did message the clown, the top gainers and top losers, is still kind of acting up. I think usually if I just message him, he'll find a way to fix it in the meantime. But the main things, of course, I wanted to look at was the golden moments. I want to look up some other things as well, you know, Spider-Man, Batman. Someone in my last video did say if I could cover Spider-Man, so I'll be sure to do that. So Lady and the Tramp back down a bit. Looks like it's only down about 18 gems, so it's only down about 2.5%, and I still think this is still calculating. And you know, I mean, there's quite a bit of a pump for some of these the last couple days or so. R2D2 went all the way up to what looks like 5,700. Now it's actually retracing down to 5.4. C3PO is now kind of cresting below 3K. And this is kind of what I expected. This is kind of some signs of a dead cat bounce, where I do think it's a big bounce for some NFTs, but overall I still think this is pretty much a dead cat bounce. I just don't think there's enough catalyst. There's not enough buying pressure happening right now. The buying pressure only happened with a very few select, mostly, like I said, high tier, relatively high tier golden moments. I mean, all the golden moments moved a bit, but the ones that moved the most were C3PO, R2, for the most part. Lenticular cards like Donald went absolutely crazy, went all the way up to 600. Now it's retracing pretty hard. Last I checked, I think it retraced all the way down to like 480. So it's already down 120 gems. So it went up, you know, 140, 160 gems. Now it's down 120 gems from back where it was before. Iron Man is actually up 10%. Avengers logo is up 13%, so at 1100. Wally's up not even a full percent, so it's sitting there at about 875. Pizza Planet Truck up 15%. Elsa is at 2100, so that's about 5%. Sorcerer Set's actually doing pretty well. This is one I bought way too high. I still have it, and it's at 2800, but it's nice to see that it's basically not teasing the idea of 2K anymore. It could go back down, who knows? I do think some of these could go back down. Maybe not to their previous lows. I do think that's a point where people are saying, okay, when we do see things like R2D2 at 3.8, or if we do see things like Homer and Bart, when they hit those previous levels, people are more inclined to buy those up again. So if someone does see Homer and Bart hitting, you know, 930 gems again, people might start buying those up again. So that could be a, you know, for some of you guys that are waiting like me for kind of more or less the absolute bottom for some of these NFTs, that could be it, at least until MTL comes out. So there's that. We're gonna look at the Mickey Lenticular cards, and then we're gonna look at Spider-Man afterward. Actually, let's look up Spider-Man next. I do have to be somewhat quick about this because, like I said, I did start a bit late, unfortunately. So Spider-Man, the Spider-Man Common, the Marvel Mighty, is up 10%, so it's up to 112. Spider-Man 2099 is up 16%, so it's up 240 gems from earlier what it was at about 1400. Ghost Spider, I remember telling people to stack these. I probably should have stacked at least a couple of these back when she was about 92 gems. No, cheaper than that. Why is this saying 92 gems? Yeah, I don't think this market is picked up on the fact that she's been below. I mean, there's a period of time where she was at 75 for like quite a few days, so I'm not sure why the wait, should probably actually click on Ghost Spider if I'm gonna do it. It's still early, guys, I apologize. I'm like, why is it saying the absolute bottom? Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this thing has gone below 70 gems at points, so 67 gems. Let's check out the Zombie Hunter Spider-Mans. They're up. I'm still holding 2 Zombie Hunter Commons, to be quite honest. I bought these. I bought 2 of them at around 260 to 280. I'm still holding them, to be quite honest. Zombie Hunter Spider-Man Ultra Rare. Wow, seeing this thing at 650 is pretty mind-blowing, especially since this thing did have a previous high of, I think, 1500. I could be wrong. It's been quite some time. I do think the Spider-Mans are going to move very well. Yeah, so it's all-time high is 1800. I prefer to kind of take the average of its peaks around it. So peaked at 1400, and then the one prior to the candle before it was 1600. So maybe it's probably a little bit closer to 14 rather than, you know, yeah, I almost just pretend the 18 isn't there. I just treat it as if there's just a candle at 1400 for the most part. Moving on, listings are super low. That's another thing that we're noticing, is that listings are very low just across the board on all of these. Walls are super thin. I do think some people And some people have admitted this in my stream, where they said, hey, like, I saw the market was low, and for the last 2 or 3 weeks I just didn't look at Veve. Like, I didn't look at the market, I didn't look at Veve. I'm just kind of hoping to wait to see an announcement via Twitter of a big drop or something happening about MTL or whatever it is. And people, they're just kind of waiting for catalysts at this point. I do think there's a good portion of people in the Veve community, at least on the YouTube side of things, that, like, you know, interaction and stuff is somewhat down compared to what it was in January and February, where everyone's just on, especially late January, early February, where some NFTs were still sellable. Like, people were just on cloud 9, but now it's, you know, it's just some retracement happening. Ben Riley, I've been saying this one for a while. Like, this is probably going to be one of the most volatile NFTs. Spider-Man and super low mints. You know, we have a lot of other Spider-Mans here, but the mints aren't that low in the grand scheme of things, unless you're trying to buy the secret ultra or the normal rare. You know, the mints are on the high side. I mean, it's popular enough that it shouldn't really matter, but if we're talking something like Ben Riley, I do think this is going to be one of the most volatile NFTs, at least especially for Spider-Man for the most part. So if we do see this get below, and we've seen it get around 300 a couple times, but I say if you see this get below like 330, 340, it could be a good time to pick it up if you like Spider-Man. And I do like the Ben Riley just look, to be honest, a little bit more than the classic Spider-Man look. Just aesthetically, I still appreciate it. I like all the poses and stuff, but Spider-Man Common made some big moves, even though it says it's only up 0.32%. That's only the trailing 24 hours. You know, if we're looking at the last 36 hours, last 48 hours, yeah, this NFT just went crazy. So at 450, pumped all the way up to 625, which is a pretty significant increase. Ultra rare, secret rare, it's kind of doing its own thing. Jump into action was another one that jumped up a lot. I think this one got as low as like 750, 700. Now it's up to 930 right now. So, you know, some of these, all these prices is based on the last 24 hours. So sometimes it seems like, well, okay, well, Spider-Man rare didn't pump that much. Like, actually it did. It was at 750 36 hours ago, but it's only taken in consideration the last 24 hours. And Spider-Man hanging out is up 11%, now at 475. I remember when this thing was low 300s. So this thing has already gone up almost 50%, you know, 40%, something like that. This thing has made some major movements. Let me actually pull up the graph, and then afterward we'll go ahead and pull up lenticular cards. 388. Okay, maybe it wasn't as low in the 300s as I thought. Maybe it's like mid 300s. So yeah, but I mean, this thing has still made some pretty significant moves. Let's check out Mickey really quick. Mickey. Daisy's finally getting up. I did see a couple Daisy and mini cards. So what happened yesterday was Goofy went up quite a bit, but what was it? Donald. Why am I not finding Donald here? Gosh, Donald just went completely parabolic on the app. It went from 380 all the way up to, even though it doesn't show it, it did go up to 600. It was at like 595 or something like that. Like, the listings did get that high. So again, you can't always take it at 100% consideration. You know, ecomi wiki, sometimes the prices, the highs are a bit higher, but again, that's probably an API issue, not so much like an ecomi issue, or sorry, not so much like a yeah, ecomi wiki like issue or whatever. But yeah, listings are super low. And who knows, I might actually scoop this one up. Like, I do think it could go a bit lower. Personally, I did admit on stream, this is one of the NFTs I did sell at the top. I did sell one at 550 for a small loss, hoping to just rebuy it and just kind of create some gems out of thin air, right? And this is a technique I do want to kind of try and at least kind of learn firsthand, and then be able to communicate with you guys like when I think is a good time to sell it off. You know, at any point the last 6 weeks, it would have been a great time to sell Donald Duck and just buy it down low, right? But I don't think a lot of people expected this to happen. But now that I do have some experience under my belt, looking at a ton of market price action, I feel like I do have a comfortable sense of when these things could happen again in the future. But yeah, Donald Duck just absolutely pumped. They actually surpassed Pluto for a while. Pluto was at like 550 and Donald was at almost 600. So I'm like, wait, how is Donald more than Pluto? And I haven't entertained the idea of like, man, should I buy a couple Plutos? Because there was like 2 or 3 at about 550. And I was just staring at it. And I remember coming back later that day, 2-3 hours later, those 3 listings for 550 was still there. I'm like, should I buy these or should I just leave them? Because who knows, like maybe maybe Donald's gonna just because I thought to myself, like, either Donald's gonna go down or Pluto's gonna go up. Like, one of those things has to happen very soon. Donald did go down, but Pluto also went up. So maybe some people are like, wait, why is Pluto so cheap but Donald's high? Like, so that's typically what I do, is like, I don't chase pumps. I try to find an adjacent NFT that is similar. So I'm thinking, wait, Pluto is a higher rarity, less mints, you know, all that stuff, and it's less than Donald. Is that the next move? And I probably should have pulled the trigger on it. Probably should have pulled the trigger on it at the time. And basically, I mean, I could have just resold it and probably made a pretty easy, what, 60, 70 gems, you know, if you're in flipping. So this is kind of what I mean about finding ways to take advantage of opportunities to flip. I am holding on to, you know, a couple thousand extra gems that I'm just strictly using for flipping. I'm just flipping it until I get about 1,000 to 2,000 gems in profit. Then I'm going to use that to probably buy a golden moment or lenticular cards and just hold those forever and then do that. So it's like I'm just using a small bag of gems to just continually flip and make profit. And then when I do get enough profit, I buy something I want to hold long term, and I just use those same gems for flipping. So yeah, so this is kind of stuff I'm just experimenting with. Like, we're in a gem squeeze. Like, what are some ways that I can kind of make some gems in the meantime? Because right now everyone, including myself, is starved for gems. We want to find some way to make some profit or ways to leverage the market. And so I'm trying some things, you know, a bit riskier, whether it's like selling things on the way down, or if you do see things pump, buying an adjacent NFT that's either part of the same set or series, same superhero, whatever it is. It has to be enough of a pump that is significant where it is drawing attention to itself. You know, a tiny pump where it's up 10%. It's like, okay, that's enough. But like, if something is pumping 15, 20, 25, 30%, then it's like, okay, now it's getting people's attention. And people just like myself are always looking for, all right, what's the next thing? What's something else I can buy? All right, we're gonna do a very quick overview of Batman. Spelled that right? All right, sorry about that. There it goes. Batman versus Killer Croc was up a bit. Now it's down. I figured it would show Batgirl and all the other Bat stuff if I removed the... So Batman versus Killer Croc is down. Becky Cloonan is up 365 gems. So it's up 27% as of yesterday. Again, this could be one people could start to be taking profit, because again, I'm fully aware that DC... NFTs, you know, that 2.5% fee, they're very, very friendly for flipping. So anyone that basically bought a Becky Cloonan for, you know, even 1,600, even 1,650, you could still technically flip this for like a tiny profit, as crazy as that sounds. Some people might do that. Darwin Cook Batman is up 17% at 150. F.A. Robin. So it does seem like most of the black and white series stuff is in the green. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this because I do want to wrap this video up pretty quickly and get it out to you guys roughly within... I try my best to get it out to you guys anytime between I guess Pacific Standard Time, anytime between about 7:25 to like 7:35. That's kind of like my room. I try to get the videos out. Sometimes it's a bit later, but it is what it is. Batman 71 is up a tiny bit. Jim Lee Nightwing's up a tiny bit, but that's only because it's, again, these actually did pump quite a bit in the last 36 to 48 hours. But the last 24, it's just not really picking that up. So it says Nightwing's only up $1, but it did pump quite a bit from 1,200 all the way up to 1,800, and that's an OG classic. Todd McFarlane Batman finally getting back to above 1K. It was just chilling in the low 6K for quite some time. Edward Rizzo is at 14, so it's up 27%. What I'm really curious about, Amanda Connor's interesting. One I'm really curious about, wow, Dick Sprang went up quite a bit. Batman, 29%. If you didn't know, that's actually, I was watching Dino and the Gales live stream, like interview together, and I think Gale said that's the first NFT he bought was Dick Sprang Batman. He also kind of thought the name was funny, but yeah, he said that was the first, kind of a fun fact, that like the first NFT he bought, apparently. Jim Lee Joker immediately getting sold off. This thing hit, I think, mid 900s. And so right now, I do think this could be a sneak peek of what could happen with Joker, where it's at 700, pumped all the way up, even though the chart doesn't show it. This was at the low 900s. It was at like 920, 910. Now it's all the way back down to 830. So even though I do see the other Batmans following this kind of trend where it's going to pump up a lot and go down, dead cat bounce, right? There's just not enough buying pressure. Even though listings are super low, all those listings are really just hugging the floor and not so much the middle or the top. Batman Who Laughs. Check out Batman Who Laughs as well as Harley Quinn. in the meantime. And if there's any other NFTs you guys want me to check out, I apologize today. I just had a late start. I literally started like 15 minutes late, so I could have made this a tiny bit longer. Batman Who Laughs was at 140. I thought that was a good point to start buying. I thought it would go a little bit lower to 120. It could still definitely do that. So right now it's up to 184. Listings are still low, but still nowhere near an all-time low. There's still a ton of people just trying to get rid of this thing in the meantime. And I do think of all the DC stuff like Batman Who Laughs, if there is an MTL announcement or anything or a big IP announcement, this is one of the first things to drop significantly. So I'm keeping my eye on that. And again, it's one of my favorite NFTs in the platform. So I'm not trash talking. I'm just looking at the charts here as to what's happening. So, and the Bruce Tim Harley Quinn, I thought this one did run up to 700 very briefly. Yeah, I love that Batman Who Laughs. Harley Quinn did run up to almost 700, I think, very briefly. And again, I do think the other Batmans will follow suit. I do think that the FE Batman, so yeah, it ran up to, even though it only says 570, I could have sworn this thing ran up to like 680 at one point, so almost 700. Now it's all the way back down to 530. So I do think the other Batmans will follow similar suit for the most part. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, I'm running late, so I apologize for the only 15 instead of the 20 or 25-minute video that I usually do. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Good luck on today's drop, guys, and please double and triple check all of your listings before you post anything on the market so you don't screw yourself over. And I'll catch you guys next time.